I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Kwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles at Great Millstone for teaching this truth according to the Bible. Okay, today my title is going to be something like what happens after we die. Okay, something to that tune. Because as we get closer and closer to the end, right, and as we have seen already at the beginning of 2025 and will continue to see for the rest of the year, there's going to be more and more judgment being issued forth by the Heavenly Father Yahweh, okay? And we're going to see a lot of death, okay? Especially here in Babylon the Great, all right? And when we hit that time, that Jacob's trouble time, right? It's not just going to be Israelites being put to death. It's going to be all nations, okay, all across the world, right? But, we know that the main focus is going to be here in Babylon. But we do have to remember that the whole world is going to be tried, okay, with fire. So the amount of death that is going to be right in front of the faces of the elect, the hopefully elect, is going to increase. All right. We see it on social media, right? We see it on Facebook, on X, YouTube, right? But at some point, it's going to be in our own space, right? In our own face, where we're going to have to deal with the fact that we're really going to see people be judged and put to death by the Heavenly Father, okay? When he sends his death angels down here to do work. All right, so a question that a lot of people may have is, what really happens, okay, when we die? What happens after death? All right, and that's one of the main questions people have before they come into this truth. And when you come into this truth, those questions get answered. All right, when you know how to properly read and go through the scriptures. All right, so I'm going to start here in Job chapter 3, and I got other scriptures, okay, branching off that just line up. Okay, with the theme. All right, so I'm gonna start at about verse. I'll start at verse 13. Okay, where Job was going into how he wished he had never been born. Right, remember how Job was suffering so much that he had been wishing that death would come upon him. All right, and one thing about Job is that even when his woman told him to curse God and die, he refused. Okay, he said that shall we not receive, good things and bad things from the Heavenly Father? So Job was a man of integrity. Okay, and that was the whole test that the Heavenly Father put in front of Job. But let me start this here. Verse 13, Job 3 and 13. And it says, "For now should I have lain still and been quiet. I should have slept. Then had I been at rest." Okay, so in the scriptures, a lot of times when you see that word sleep or slept, right, it's talking about death, all right? Dying, okay, is likened to in the scriptures to death or to sleep, actually, slakia, all right? And, Job is talking about how he wishes that is actually what had happened, okay, before he was even born, all right? And so basically Job was suicidal. Right. And that's how depressed and how low he was, that spiritual low estate that he was in. OK, so I'll read it again. It says, "For now, should I have lain still and been quiet, I should have slept. Then had I been at rest." So the first answer to the question, what happens after you die, is answered here in this first verse that I read. And what happens is you rest. OK. You sleep, you rest, okay, and you go to the spiritual world. But I have more scriptures that will go into that, all right? But I'm going to continue reading. Verse 14 says, "With kings and counselors of the earth, which build desolate places for themselves, or with princes that had gold, who filled their houses with silver, or as a hidden untimely birth, I had not been as infants which never saw light." Okay, so another question is, who where do people go after they go, right? They go to rest, all right? And another question is, all right, who's all there? Right? Do we all go to the same place when we die? Because in the Christian church, they teach heaven and hell, right? They teach that if you were good, right? If you accepted JC, you're going to go to heaven, okay? Which they teach is an eternal paradise where you live forever, right? In a spiritual world, floating around like a ghost and singing praises and worship songs for the rest of eternity. All right. They teach that if you were wicked, right, if you didn't proclaim the name of JC, you're going to go to hell and you're going to burn in fire for all eternity without any break. It's just eternal fire forever. OK, which is not biblical. It's not in the scriptures. When the scriptures are talking about hell, they're not talking about a place that you go after you die where you burn forever and ever and ever. OK, that's not what happens. OK, and we're going to answer these questions as we get these other scriptures. All right. So we're going to continue. It says, actually, well, the question I asked is, so who's all there? All right. So you can see in these next three verses that kings and counselors are there. Right. The princes are there. It also says the untimely birth. I had not been as an infant, which never saw light. So the infants that never saw light are basically the miscarriages. Right. The miscarriages, the infants that really never got a chance to live, even they are there. So you're going between kings and infants that never saw light. All right. And so you have a wide range, which basically includes everyone. All right. Everyone goes into the same place. And I'll get that in another verse. Verse 17 says, there the wicked cease from troubling. OK, so this is a cut here on that hell doctrine. It says there the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary be at rest. All right. So the wicked are there. Right. So what happened to hell? All right. What happened to hell? That hell doctrine, if the wicked are in the same place as these other people, resting. OK, and the weary be at rest. There the prisoners rest together. They hear not the voice of their oppressor. OK, now I want to go to my next verse. OK, we're going to go to Ecclesiastes. Right. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 20. And it says, all go unto one place. All are of the dust, and all turn to dust again. OK, so talking about our bodies, when we die, our bodies they break back down into the elements. OK, that's what the dust is, the dirt, the earth. It's made out of the elements, OK, that were created in the beginning by Yahushua and the angels. OK, so our body, our carnal fleshly body is made out of those elements. OK, and this body is nothing more than just a vehicle. OK, a home to house our spirit. Right. So what happens to our spirit? Next verse. Who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward, and the spirit of the beast that goeth downward to the earth? OK, so the spirit of a human being is going to go upward, straight up to the Heavenly Father, to what's called the third heaven. OK, where the Heavenly Father resides and the angels reside. OK, and he sits on his throne. OK, why do you go there? You go there to receive your judgment. And I'll get more scriptures on that. But in this previous verse, you'll see that it says all go to one place. That's why if you go back to Job 3, it says, verse 17, Job 3 and 17 says, there the wicked cease from troubling. OK, so this is how we know that there is no hell. OK, because the wicked, OK, according to Christianity, they're supposed to go to hell, right, and burn for eternity. This is not what happens, right? Ecclesiastes 3 and 20 says all go into one place. All right. And we all go before the Heavenly Father to receive our judgment. OK, let's continue on to the next verse. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 8, where it says, we are confident, I say, and willing rather to be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Okay, so what happens when we leave our bodies, our carnal, physical bodies, right? In the previous verse, right, in Ecclesiastes, it says that the body returns to the earth, to the dust, to the elements, but our spirit goes before the Heavenly Father. Okay, it goes upward, right? So to be absent from your body is to be present with the Lord, right? Wherefore we labor that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. Okay, so this is why, this is where we get morality from. Okay, the reason why we regulate ourselves, or we attempt to regulate ourselves here in this flesh, in this sinful flesh, right, is because of the fear that we have of our Heavenly Father and his Son. Okay, this is why we labor. Okay, right? This is why we work out our own salvation with fear and trembling, because in these bodies, we are absent from the Heavenly Father. Okay, we're not in his physical, actual, his essence, his presence, like we would be if we were in the spiritual realm right now. Okay, we know that the Heavenly Father is technically omnipresent. Okay, so he is everywhere and in everything, right? But his actual essence resides sitting on the throne in heaven. Okay. Now it says, wherefore we labor that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. Okay. We want to be accepted of the Heavenly Father, right? So when we go back to the spirit world, we're looking for mercy. Okay. Because when we receive our judgment, we're looking to be receive a good judgment, right? Depending on how we do here in this place we call planet Earth, in this simulation that the Heavenly Father created called life, right? So let's get another one. Hebrews chapter 9 and verse 27 says, and as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this, the judgment. Okay, so each and every one of us has been appointed a time that we die. Everybody dies, okay? And there will come a point where the Hebrew Israelites will no longer experience or have to go through the process of death. All right. That's under the second covenant, when Yahushua returns and establishes that government, that righteous kingdom. OK, the tabernacle of David. Right. With the 144,000 men that are going to be leading the nation of Israel as immortal gods here on the earth. OK, but, you know, from the time of Adam, okay, all the way up until this point, we have indeed experienced death many times. Okay. And this is where we kind of get into the concept of reincarnation. Okay. Which is one of the most deep and hard to understand if you're not a part of the elect. If you're not a part of the elect, you're not going to understand. Right. But if you are a part of the elect, you will understand that reincarnation is indeed biblical. And it is indeed what happens after you die. All right. So let me read this verse again. It says Hebrews 9 and 27 says, and as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this, the judgment. OK, so when it says once to die, right, it means that you're going to die here on earth once. Right. So you're not going to die, come back to life, die again, come back to life, die again, all in the same body. Right. Where you're constantly being revived back to the same body and dying over and over and over again. No, that's not what happens. You die once and you go back to the spirit world. OK, before the Heavenly Father, where you will receive your judgment. OK, and we're going to get into where we get reincarnation. All right. So, but after this, the judgment, right? We receive a judgment. We go before the Heavenly Father's throne. OK, and we receive a judgment. This is second Esdras. OK, getting deeper into judgment. All right, because a big part of this, right, answering the question, what happens after death, is indeed the role that judgment plays after death. OK, so we're going to answer this question. Second Esdras 14 and 35 says, For after death shall the judgment come, just like we read in Hebrews. Okay, and it says, and as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this the judgment. Okay, Second Esdras is talking about the same thing. For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again. Okay, so this is where you're getting into reincarnation. All right. So essentially what's happening is we're going through a cycle or a circle or a ring, right? We are born on this earth, right? We live our lives, we die, and we receive a judgment. Okay, that's why it says, for after death shall the judgment come. You receive your judgment on how you lived your life here on the earth. When we shall live again, okay, and you're reincarnated back on the earth after you rest for a while, okay, until the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, sees fit to send you back to the earth, okay, and you live again, right? You're reborn as a little baby, and you grow up and you live out your life that you live, okay, whether under the conditions of heaven or hell. The life that you live in this carnal body is going to be the culmination of the judgment that you received from the Heavenly Father. And this answers the question that a lot of people ask of, why do bad things happen to good people? Okay, well, what you got to understand is that everything that's going on the earth is under the control of the Heavenly Father, okay, through his angels that he commands, right? So everything that happens to anybody is a judgment. Okay, even if they might seem like they're an innocent person, a nice, kind, loving person, right? Well, you got to understand that that spirit inside that body has been here before, and they've had other lives, and we don't know who they were before. Okay, but the Heavenly Father knows, and the Heavenly Father has sent down us all, okay, all spirits, to live out judgment here on the earth, whether good or bad. All right. So let me continue reading. It says, when we shall live again, and then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. Okay, right. Because when you come back on the earth, okay, if you are a righteous person, you're going to be you're going to have an easier go of things. Okay, right. If you were an ungodly person or a sinner or somebody that was completely against the Heavenly Father, okay, and his commandments, right? And I'm talking about Israelites here, okay? I'm talking about Israelites. All nations do go through this cycle, okay? But the Israelites, the curses that we've been under has had us stuck in this constant intergenerational cycle of being reborn and reincarnated as a nation under hellish conditions, constantly having to serve in slavery and captivity to the other nations, constantly being in poverty, constantly being killed and destroyed, constantly having a hard go of things in life. Those are the curses pursuant to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, okay, from the 15th verse all the way down to the 68th verse. All right, so the Israelites are under curses that whenever we come back, okay, our lives are going to be subject in some way, shape, or form to the curses of Deuteronomy. Okay, and the thing that's going to break those curses off of us for the last time, including the curse of death, including the curse of sin and death, right, is the return of Yahweh Shai and entering into that second covenant. Okay, being made righteous, being made perfect when we are changed, our bodies are changed. Okay, so the names of the righteous the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. All right, so that's what happens after you're judged, right? You get judged, you rest, right, for a little while, and then you live again, right? You get sent back down to the earth. Let's go to Ecclesiastes again, chapter 3 and verse 16. It says, And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment. Okay. And this is another reincarnation verse here. Okay. Because it says that the place of judgment is under the sun. Okay. You ask a Christian, where is the place of judgment? They're going to tell you hell. They're going to tell you it's the place that your spirit goes after you die and you burn. Well, that's not what the scriptures say. The scriptures say that the place of judgment is under the sun. Okay, that's the planet Earth, right? This planet that we physically walk on is indeed the place of judgment. The spirit world is not where you live out your judgment. As a matter of fact, when you die, you're completely righteous. You do not sin. Everything in the spirit world is in order. The angels are in complete 100% order. You are in complete and 100% order and in your right mind. You're no longer under the curse of sin when you're in the spirit world. That happens when you get into this fleshly body, right? The bodies that we inhabit are the things that are under the curse of sin, which is why the warfare that we have internally is between our spirit, right, which knows the difference between right and wrong, okay, and our flesh, our bodies, which want to do what they want to do, right? You know, and that's that constant battle that we have to have with ourselves, right? The difference between right and wrong. Okay, so let me finish this whole verse where it says, and moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. So the place of judgment, you have both wickedness and righteousness, right? That doesn't sound like hell, because hell is nothing but an eternal torment. Okay, that's what the Christians teach, right? It's just a place where the wicked go, where they're eternally tormented. Okay, but the Bible, the scriptures say that the place of judgment is under the sun. That would be the planet Earth. And it says that wickedness is here, okay, because wickedness is here on planet Earth. But you also have the righteous here, right? You also have the righteous here, okay? You know, and there are times when we as Israelites, you know, we are wicked as a whole, right? We are wicked as a whole, and we constantly fight. But then, you know, you have times where you had righteous acts done by these men, right? By men on earth. Okay, you go through the book of Kings, 1st and 2nd Kings. It'll go through, especially the southern tribes. They had kings that were righteous, right? That did the will of the Heavenly Father, right? Even though, yes, they did sin. The only one that lived a life sinless was Yahushua himself. Okay, so nobody is perfect, right? But the point is, the place of judgment is not a place, a fiery place, right, called hell. Okay, there will be a lake of fire on earth. It's going to be a physical location on earth, which we teach is Babylon the Great, aka the United States of America. And why is the entire landmass of the lower 48 states, the United States of America, going to be on fire? Well, because as a result of World War III, those missiles, those nuclear missiles are going to hit here in Babylon the Great, the United States of America, and it's going to be set on fire. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the lake of fire, where people will burn here on earth in their bodies. Okay, so that is where the Christians get it wrong. They teach the lake of fire is somewhere, you know, in a spirit realm where you go after you die. No, the lake of fire is going to be here on earth. Okay, let's continue here. Let's go to Revelation chapter 14 and verse 13. And it says, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, right, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest. Okay, there's that rest again. When you die, you are at rest. That's why when you go to the graveyards, what do you see on a lot of the headstones? Those 3 letters. R.I.P. Okay, that stands for rest in peace. Okay, so when you are dead, you rest. Okay, that they may rest from their labors and their works do follow them. Okay, and that's the point, because your works, what you do, whether good or bad, that's what follows you. You know how people say, like, if you have a lot of money or possessions, they say when you die, you can't take it with you. Right. And that's correct, because when you die, you cannot take those things with you. You cannot take carnal things into the spirit world. Right. Your spirit goes into the spirit world. OK, but the things that you did, the things that you acted upon, your works, that is what you're going to take with you into the spirit world. OK, to receive your judgment. All right. So let's go. All right. I got three more. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9 says, "The thing that hath been is that which shall be." This is a reincarnation verse. "The thing that hath been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun." Okay, so there's that phrase, under the sun, again. And remember, we read in the previous verse. Okay, let's get it. All right. Ecclesiastes 3:16. "Moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment." Now, I've established that the place of judgment is the planet Earth, where we live in these bodies. Okay. Now, Ecclesiastes 1:9 says, there is no new thing under the sun. Right. So we're talking about here on planet Earth, of course. Now, this verse is stating that there is no new thing, okay, here on planet Earth. Everything here on planet Earth is a reincarnation of something that has lived before. Okay, and we are not talking about that pagan Hindu concept of reincarnation, where if you're in the Hindu religion, right, they say that if a human being dies, they can be reincarnated as a beetle or a fucking caterpillar or a tiger or some shit. No, that's off. Okay. Reincarnation, you always come back as what you were. Okay. Once you're born a human, you are always reincarnated as a human. As a matter of fact, to be more specific, you're always reincarnated into your nation. Right? Your nation, your bloodline is what carries your descendants are what carry you. Right? The men of your nation. Okay. This is why when we go through the book of Genesis, when you go through the book of Chronicles, all the lineages, this is why lineages were so important. And it is also why when you read those lineages, okay, this person begat this person. This person had this son, and they had a son, and they had a son, and they had a son. And this person had 7 sons, and they had 70 sons, and so on and so forth. The reason why they only talk about the sons, okay, is because the men of a nation are what carry the nation, okay, through their sperma, okay, their sperm, right? So the thing that makes you of your nation is your father. Right. And this is why we say you are what your father is. OK, so your sons were important because they were who was going to continue your bloodline, where you would eventually be reincarnated later on down the line, which is about every 3 or 4 generations. OK, and that's just about every 3 or 4 generations. It doesn't have to be exact. Right? The Heavenly Father can do whatever he wants to do. OK, he can have you come back right away. He can have you come back, a little bit later. But, according to the scriptures, right, it's about every 3 or 4 generations. Right. So it says there is no new thing under the sun. OK, that includes your spirit. Right. You've been here before. OK, Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 10 says, "Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us." Okay, and that includes you. All right, everything is reincarnated. All right. And we're not talking about that Hindu concept. All right. We're talking scriptural, biblical. Okay. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? Which means, can you go up to a brand new baby, right, that had just got born and say, see, this is new. This spirit here, this is a new spirit. It's never been here before. No, you cannot say that. Okay. Why? Because it hath been already of old time, which was before us. Okay. And the reason why Christianity denies reincarnation, okay, and they deny the actual facts of what happened when you die and what happens when you die, and the fact that you actually have to come back down to earth and live out the judgment you just received, is because now, if you do indeed accept the fact that reincarnation is biblical, right? Now all of these Edomite Christians have to accept the fact that it was them that did all those atrocious abominations to the children of Israel. It was them that had them as slaves in the cotton fields and the tobacco fields and the factories and all of the other forms of hardcore bondage that they had them in. It was them that were the Romans that hung Yahushai on the cross. Okay, it was them that Judas Maccabeus fought against. Okay, under the Greek Empire. All right, they have to admit that the sins of their fathers were actually their sins. Okay, they're nothing more than they are their fathers reincarnated back on the earth. All right. So this is why they don't teach that. Okay, because then there has to be an accountability, and there will be an account made. Okay, whether they accept it or not. This is why the scriptures go on to say, let me get it. Let me add another one. This is Isaiah chapter 14, okay, in verse 21. This is why this verse is talking about this, okay? And you can find many more about the Edomites being taken out, okay? And people might ask, well, why would the Heavenly Father take out Edomites now when the Edomites that did all these atrocious things are long gone? Well, because of the concept of reincarnation. Okay, Isaiah 14 and 21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land or fill the face of the world with cities. So the reason why you're preparing slaughter for the children is because those same children are indeed the fathers that committed those iniquities. All right. So, a good example would be if you had a hardcore slave master in the deep South, right? Let's talk like maybe Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama. You know what I'm talking about. All right. Down South, we're talking, 1700s. All right. Let's talk 1700s, right? Even the 1800s. Deep South, hardcore Edomite slave master. Just absolutely taking it to his slaves, right? Hardcore racist, all right? Doing all kinds of iniquity, all kinds of abomination to his slaves, right? Who are the Israelites. Let's take him, for example. You mean to tell me that this guy dies, all right? This Edomite devil dies of old age, rich, happy, right? Sipping tea on the porch, passing down wealth for generations to his family after raping, robbing, and murdering his way to the top, okay, and taking advantage of the low estate and condition of the children of Israel, having nothing but hatred and disdain and physical torture of the Heavenly Father's children? And you mean to tell me that that Edomite on his deathbed can say that he accepts Jesus Christ and his sins are forgiven and he can go to heaven and just spend eternity, and float around with everybody else? No, that's not what happens. Okay? That same Edomite that did all those atrocious, abominable acts, he's going to pay for that. Okay? You do not get away with what you did to the children of Israel. This is why this verse is here. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers. Okay? So the things that are about to go down here on the planet Earth are a recompense for what happened, okay? For what these Edomites and these other nations as well, don't forget about those other nations, for what they have done to the children of Israel. Okay? So, I actually saw, I'm thinking of a verse. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's in, I was right there. 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 and verse 6. Okay, this is good. Okay, verse 6 says, seeing it is a righteous thing with Gabar-yah-ahla to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. So the Heavenly Father is going to get payback. Okay, payback. Okay, how does he get payback? Those same Edomites that have done all these abominations throughout history, they have to pay for everything they've done. So they will be reincarnated here in the end times, and they will receive judgment. Okay, and after the ultimate judgment on the day of the Lord with those missiles, they will be again reincarnated in the kingdom of heaven. All right, and they will be born as slaves, as servants, and they will serve us for 1,000 years in the kingdom as our slaves. So this is why it says in Jeremiah, this is why it says in Jeremiah 30 and 16, it says, therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. So the Heavenly Father is going to recompense those that troubled us, right? Seeing it is a righteous thing with Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai to recompense, repay tribulation to them that trouble you. And the chief of those nations that troubled us, okay, were you Edomites, okay? And we're going to have a double vengeance, okay? Whatever you did to us, we're going to do to you double, all right? So that's why that verse is there, right? So now, we were talking about the concept of reincarnation, all right, and what happens after you die. So yes, you do come back to the earth after you die. Let's go to 2 Esdras, chapter 5 and verse 42, where it says, and he said unto me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring. And like I said, it's like a cycle, a ring, where you're going around and around and around, over and over and over again, repeating itself, okay? Like as there is no slackness of the last, even so there is no swiftness of the first. So it's going to it's like a constant cycle where you're being born, you live out your judgment, you die, okay? Then you receive a new judgment, okay? You're born again, you live out your judgment, and then you die, all right? And you continue like that until we Israelites will continue like that until the return of Yahweh Shai. And this is why we pray daily that the Heavenly Father send his son Yahweh Shai to avenge us, okay, to make us perfect, to change us, okay, so that we can keep the law, statutes, and commandments perfectly in our new bodies, okay. And therefore, when we don't sin, we won't die. It will be impossible impossible for us to sin. Therefore, it will be impossible for us to die. Okay. And we will live the rest of eternity as Israelites, as immortals. Okay. Ruling over the other nations. All right. Last one. Let's get this one. Matthew 11:14 says, and if you will receive it. Okay. Actually, let me go back. Start at verse 12. Matthew 11:12. It says, and from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. And that kingdom of heaven is talking about the nation of Israel. We're the ones that suffer violence. Our bodies, right? Our bodies, our minds, we suffer violence from the other nations, okay? The violent take it by force. It says, for all the prophets in the law prophesied until John. And if ye will receive it, this is Elias, which was for to come. Okay, so Elijah, right? Because the prophet Elijah was John the Baptist reincarnate. Okay. So that's why it says in Matthew 11:14 at the top of the verse, it says, and if ye will receive it, because the Heavenly Father knows that through the Spirit, not everybody is going to get it. Not everybody's going to be able to receive this, this information, these facts, right? Most people, it's going to go right over their head. They're not going to be able to grasp what's going on here, because we've been taught, from the time that we were born that, when you die, that's it. There is no more after that. You're either in heaven or you're in hell. You don't come back here, right? We're taught that everybody that's born is a brand new spirit and has never been here before. Okay, well, that's not biblical. And this is why this Matthew 11 is indeed a reference to reincarnation, okay, which is what we teach. All right. Matthew 11:14. And if you will receive it, yeah, because it's not meant for everybody to receive. Reincarnation is a spiritual meat concept. Okay, meaning it's a little bit more advanced for you to be able to grasp. All right. But if you're a part of the elect, you're going to understand that reincarnation is indeed the way this thing works. All right. And if you will receive it, this is Elijah, which was for to come. All right. So, that is what happens after you die. You receive a judgment and you go through the cycle again. All right. And soon, Lord willing, soon those cycles for the Israelites will end and we'll just live eternally. Right. Lord will, we're part of the elect. All right. And even if for the 2/3, right, who are going to die on this side. All right. Even they will get immortality. Okay. When they're reborn, reincarnated. Okay. In the kingdom. Okay. They'll be righteous and be perfect in every way. All right. It's just the way that the Heavenly Father had this thing play out. All right. So with that, I'm going to close out. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching this truth according to the Bible. Shalom and Abad Babal.